The Adventures of Veronica the Chicken. I saw a little chicken standing by the road. She looked a little hungry, and she sure was mighty cold. I picked her up and brought her in and turned the heater on, wrapped her in a blanket, and sang her up a song. Well, she sat there in the kitchen with her feet in water hot, and then she told me how she'd come to be at that particular spot. Well, it seemed that she'd been riding with a flock of chicken friends in the back of a great big flat-deck truck in some silver chicken pens when the truck, going round the corner, went and fell onto its side, and the chicken pens all scattered here and there, and the doors all opened wide. There were chickens in the bushes, chickens on the road, chickens in the treetops. It was a chicken overload. Veronica, that was that little chicken's name, she started running for the trees just as fast as she could travel on her little chicken knees. She ran and ran for hours and hours until she finally collapsed just outside of a cattle ranch owned by a man they called McNaps, who had a big revolver, and he always kept it clean, and he didn't take the chickens, if you know just what I mean. Well, when Veronica woke up, it was getting dark, and she was kind of dazed, and she wandered into McNapp's backyard where the cows and horses grazed. McNaps busted out of his house with his pistol in his hand, took a couple of shots at Veronica, but she up quick and she ran. She cleared a ditch and jumped a fence and then tripped over some plants. She was so darn scared her feathers fell out and, well, she darn near wet her pants. Well, she made her way to a highway. There was a farmer passing by in a big yellow diesel combine, and he looked like a pretty nice guy. Veronica jumped up to the combine's cab, and the farmer said, "Take it easy, relax." And then she realized it was close to Thanksgiving, and the farmer had a mighty big axe. Well, now a chicken ain't safe anywhere that she goes when a farmer needs something to eat. So Veronica jumped out at the next red light, and she ran like she had 10 feet. Well, she wound up on a train that was heading up north. She rode in an old freight car with nothing to eat but a half can of beans and the stub of an old cigar that she found on the track a little ways back, where some hobos had slept out under the stars. For a couple of days and a couple of nights, she rode where the cold wind blew, till she darn near froze the end of her nose, and, well, her beak was all covered with snow. When the train finally stopped in a small northern town, Veronica went looking for work. But all she could find was a waitressing job, and the boss wore a funny kind of a smirk. He moaned and he groaned and he whined and he wailed, and he robbed and he cheated and he lied. And all that the customers wanted to eat was salad and Kentucky Fried. Well, the money she earned she spent for a room that was small and dirty and cheap. And the neighbors next door played records galore, and they kept her from getting any sleep. She went down to the city. She thought she'd be safe with so many people around. But she was sadly mistaken, for she soon found out that chicken was selling for 10 cents a pound. So she hitched a ride west toward Mount Everest with a bald guy who looked like a monk. But she was so dirty from being on the road that, well, he made her ride back in the trunk. It seemed like a week that she spent in that bleak, greasy, oil-stained spare tire hole till he dumped her off outside of our place, and I brought her in from the cold, where she finally is warm and safe from the storm and feels like a brand new hen, and wouldn't, for all of the gold in the world, ever go through that again. So now Veronica lives here with the family and me, where she's trying to get back her pride. She's been through a lot since the day she got caught, penned up, and taken out for a ride. She helps around the house and does what she can, and she's glad to be back on her legs, and to thank us, I guess, every couple of days, well, she gives us a half dozen eggs.